everyone, welcome back to Great Sports Debates. This is Week 5 Power Rankings. We're starting to build some real momentum here. Another great week. You should be up double-digit units just from this week alone, winning every single week. Keep following the bets, keep watching the Power Rankings, and we can make a ton of money together. But let's jump right into it. We know Chicago's been 32 pretty much the whole year. That has not changed. They proved they are the worst team in the league, losing a huge lead against their competition, the Denver Broncos. And that's a pretty bad team itself. Coming in at 31, it is that Denver Broncos team. Yes, they did win, but it was Chicago. And no, once again, they did not cover. So one of only a couple of games where we had you bet on a unit or more. Luckily, the couple of games we lost were only 1-unit games. But Denver, I should be blaming myself. I broke my own rule I made from a few weeks back where I said, hey, if Denver's playing a team and that team's getting over 3 points, take that team no matter what. Well, Chicago was getting 3.5 points, and my fear of how bad the Bears were, I went against that rule, and sure enough, Denver wins by 3. Denver is just pitiful. They were getting killed this entire game. They came back. I do think they're better than the Bears, but this is a pretty bad team. At number 30, we got the Carolina Panthers. Maybe they'll be able to prove themselves to be as bad as Denver and Chicago. They seem to be in that same realm. They're not completely getting destroyed, but Bryce Young and this offense looks very Chicago-like. And, well, the run defense the defense in general, especially the run defense, is not really what I was expecting or hoping based on last year. At 29, we got the New York Giants. Now, we have them in the same spot. I don't have a lot of faith in the Giants. I don't think the Giants are very good. We're making this prediction without seeing their game on Monday that they were somehow initially favored when the line opened, yet they're underdogs now, and this is one of those games where we have a 2-unit bet on. So I definitely expect the Giants to lose this game, and they're definitely a below average team. At 28, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. Without Garoppolo, I don't really see them winning too much. They did come back and make the Chargers game closer than it probably should have been. Some reason the running game isn't consistent because I figured they should at least be able to run the ball. And the defense really is not that good despite having a decent pass rush. So there's potential for them to be better, but the combination of the division they're in and what they've shown on both sides of the ball so far, they'll definitely be in the 20s. At 27, we have the Arizona Cardinals. The only thing Arizona has done well is cover the spread, and now they're not even doing that. But all jokes aside, a lot of people thought this would be the worst team in football. They thought this was a team trying to tank. Josh Dobbs is doing everything he can to keep this offensive moving. And it looks like they're starting to build a pretty decent offensive line. So, they're not going to be really good this year. Maybe this is one of those teams with the potential ability for a turnaround. We'll see what happens. At 26, it's the New York Jets. Mind you, I'm making this during the time of the Sunday night game. And to me, it's a shame that a defense this good won't be top 5 because of how bad the offense is. I don't know if Zach Wilson's going to be able to make it to the end of the year. But in watching this Kansas City game, after being down 17-0 and what we expected, he's actually done a pretty good job of using his feet, getting the ball out early. And that's what you're going to have to do behind that Jets offensive line that's just really not that good. Is get the ball out early, get the ball out early, get the ball out early. And get the ball to your top threat. At 25 is the Cleveland Browns. I kind of had high hopes for this team for a while. They really do have a good defense. Again, it's kind of similar to the Jets where the offense is terrible. But, part of that is losing Chubb. Part of that is, Watson, of course, didn't play this week. But, he's only had one really good game with Cleveland anyhow. So this is a team that could be a riser when Watson returns if he starts playing really well. But for right now, we have them at 25. 24 is Pittsburgh Steelers. As I've been saying, they're finally showing what I've been seeing. This was one of three teams we had as a straight-up upset that we called. Houston. Houston beat them straight up. We didn't need the points, and they beat them badly. I didn't know it was going to be quite that bad. But, this is just a sign. I didn't see much of that game. But I have seen the Steelers a lot this year, and the offense is just really bad. I think the points they've scored and the yards they've manufactured have been really reliant on a few big plays in all of their games so far. T.J. Watt is good enough to steal them some games, and he might be one of the most underrated players in the league because he is seriously a one-man wrecking crew. But Pittsburgh is going to be in the bottom half of the league because their offense is just not good enough. At 23, we got the New England Patriots, and I think Bill Belichick just doesn't have the horses to get it done. Matt Judon's a beast, and the rookie Gonzalez was a great pick, but I don't think they have enough playmakers on offense to get it done. But, in every game you kind of see Bill knows what he wants to do. He finds weaknesses. I just don't think he has the guys to do it. A lot of people question with him pulling Mac Jones this week. But to me, why can't quarterbacks compete just like every other position? At 22, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. At this point, Cincinnati has to be here. I'm not sure why the talent isn't playing better. The coaching has made some good adjustments, in my opinion, getting Chase in the slot more so Burrow can make short passes to get the ball in the best playmakers' hands. But, if we're being honest, Burrow, just in particular, has looked really bad most of the year. Hopefully that's an injury thing and he returns to form. Like I've said before, I've never thought he's as good as most people did, but obviously he's a good quarterback. He just is not looking like that so far this year. At 21, we got the Atlanta Falcons. This is a team we've been saying the whole time, do not believe the hype. It's actually a pretty good roster, but Ritter is not an NFL quarterback. I don't know what they can do at this point. I don't know if they're going to look for somebody else. I don't know how long they're going to try to hold on to this guy playing quarterback. But this should definitely be the direction they look to go this year, is finding their real future quarterback. Because it's not this guy. At 20, we got the Green Bay Packers. They might move up a little bit when their O-line is at full strength. Because they're going to be able to run the ball. And Jordan Love's going to have all day. But I think Jordan Love is going to be the biggest problem on this team. And he's going to prevent them from being more the middle of the pack. At 19 is the Colts. Probably too high. AR is inconsistent, but he does continue to surprise me. And we all know what a freak he is. If he can get consistent, watch out. Indy is a team I'd definitely like to see more of. Just to kind of get a better feel for where I want to have them rated. But I have them at 19 right now. Again, probably too high. At 18 is another team I'm not a huge fan of. It's Tennessee Titans. I can't really figure them out. Vrabel has them winning more than they probably should. Derrick Henry, as I've been saying the whole time, can always run the ball. It doesn't matter if he has an offensive line or not. That dude's a freaking beast. I still don't trust their quarterback situation. So, when they play the better teams, they're going to have a hard time. Or when they get behind, they're going to have a hard time. But Tennessee's done well against the spread. They've done fairly well overall. And they're in the most winnable division in the league. At 17 is the Saints. Maybe too high, especially after getting beat down this week. But I do expect with Carr and Kamara's return to make the offense good enough to help the defense, which, has been pretty darn good. At 16, I got a controversial pick. This is the Minnesota Vikings. I don't care what their record is. Just look at the teams below them. If they're playing any of those teams that I have ranked below, I'm pretty much without exception going to pick them to win the game. So on that alone, I got the Vikings 16. They, like I said, they weren't as good as their record showed last year. I think they're better than the record shows this year. And, with Kirk Cousins and, of course, Jefferson, you're never going to be able to count that team out on offense. At 15 is Houston. Again, probably pretty too high. I had to make a big jump last week. I had to make another big jump this week. From the bits and pieces I've seen, really feel like they've hit gold on both their early picks. Will Anderson is just making great plays, and C.J. Stroud has been dropping dimes when he's been given time. And at this point, this is production you can't ignore. I think they're a couple of playmakers away from being an electric team, honestly. At 14, we got the Rams. Same story we've said every week. Rams need to focus on protection. If you can keep Stafford up and not moving around, because he's not mobile at all at this point, he can usually shred. He can usually find players when he's not behind and trying to fit in dangerous throws. So he's kind of got a little bit of that Favre gunslinger mentality, which can be good, but more often than not is not worth the risk. I feel like the Rams are a team that can match up and surprise anybody on the right day. At 13, I got the Washington Commanders. And again, people are like, yeah, they just lost again. And it probably is too high, but I like a lot of the pieces they have. I really like their defensive line. The numbers might not match the production or the guys that they have, but, I've always liked Chase Young, and he's back and looking like himself again. They got that rookie corner, Lake, that I really liked. Was hoping would be maybe some of the Lions snuff later, Phobes, and Sam Howell's ability to run, scramble, and find scary Terry is enough to kind of keep them moving. Maybe they're one or two pieces away from having a better offense, but I feel like they have enough playmakers throughout the team that they should win more than they lose, despite the tough division that they play in. Okay, coming in at number 12, we got the LA Chargers. As I've said all year, the Chargers are a borderline playoff team with a lights-out offense and a defense that relies on pressure. After starting out strong against the Raiders, they almost gave that game away. This team makes a lot of mistakes. I really don't like their coach, and I'm not usually someone that says too much, for or against coaching-wise, but definitely not a fan there. But the Chargers have a lot of good playmakers on offense, and they have enough that they should be a double-digit win team and contending for playoffs. At 11, I got Tampa Bay. They're in a very winnable division. It's another team I don't really like this high, but they got a solid defense and weapons for Baker to be working with, and he seems to have a pretty good connection with Mike Evans. At 10, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Probably the lowest team in the rankings that I think could actually win a playoff game. I'm still looking for more offensive consistency. The offense hasn't been as explosive or made that next step that I thought they might. But, based on the other teams in the league, I have them at 10 because this is a team that I do think can win some games. At number 9 is Seattle. I'm expecting an outright win as they moved from plus 1.5 when we placed our bets to minus 1.5, where honestly I feel like there's still a lot of value. So if you're seeing this before this game's played, this might be a good one to place a bet. This is actually one of only a handful of 2-unit games that we did this week, and I think Seattle's honestly better than the Giants everywhere. So, and this is a team where we're starting to get into teams I do feel more confident about. At number 8 is the Baltimore Ravens. This is another strange underdog this week that we placed more money on than any other team this last week, including a bet straight up. Once we heard that Watson was out, we took them -1.5. Earlier in the week, they were +2.5. That was part of one of the teasers we gave you on the subscriber special. Remember, subscribe here so you can check out the community notes that I post out with some of our biggest bets. That was part of a 3.5-unit teaser where we moved, it was a 2-team, 6-point teaser where we bumped Baltimore from 2.5 to +8.5, and then Tampa from +3 to +9. Both of those teams won outright, so we didn't need the points anyhow. But it always feels good when you have something that you feel is like complete luck when you put up some extra money. At 7, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles slide again as the passing offense and the play calling just doesn't look good. This is another team where I'm not a huge fan of the coach, although I do like how he always goes for it on 4th and 3rd and short and has his play and how successful he is with that. But just the overall play calling, I think, puts them in some bad spots. The defense isn't generating the expected rush considering the talent they have. And I really can't see Philly sliding any lower in this based on the talent they have, especially on the offensive and defensive line. So if you see any kind of odd sliding for them winning, the championship or anything like that, and you're a Philly fan, this might be your best opportunity to buy low. All right, at number 6, we got my Detroit Lions that finally slide into the elite category, and they got the return of J-Mo coming this week, and hopefully the upcoming return of Mosley, as well as some key offensive linemen that should help. But these guys need to play on both sides of the ball well consistently to keep in this elite grouping. Let's see if they can prove it in a game this week that they should win easily. And unfortunately, that line has just crossed 7. At number 5, we got the Miami Dolphins. We did lose a single unit on Miami straight up last week, but that was minor in another very successful week. Like I said, if you followed the bets and how many units I had on each one, you should be double-digit units up, which is crazy. But we've been doing it all season long. Miami still has an elite offense, and it's still a team that I think can win in any week. Number 4 is the Kansas City Chiefs. I only saw the first half when I started making this. I'm going to go check out the second half here in a second. They just still have not looked as impressive as they should with their talent. I do acknowledge this is probably the most talented team in the league. Like I said, you know already that this is one of 2 teams I put win totals bets on this year. I was undefeated. I did 4 of them last year. They're going to win 11.5 games. I'm not worried about that. I'm just kind of concerned that they're not looking like the juggernauts of the league. Okay, at 3, we're moving into our top tier group. This is the Dallas Cowboys. They've returned to looking lights out in all aspects and totally annihilated the New England Patriots. This team's for real. At 2, it's the Buffalo Bills. Ask me this, has anyone dominated the way they have in the last 3 weeks? We said a couple of weeks ago, buy low when they were 11 to 1 to win it all. That number is not returning. So hopefully you jumped on that if you're a big Bills fan or you side with the Bills. And then at number 1, it's still San Francisco. They've dominated almost every minute they played. They're stacked everywhere outside the quarterback. And they look like the class of the league right now. I think that they have a strong lead in the NFC. We'll see what teams ascend in the AFC and how things go. But I really like how San Francisco has looked. So that wraps it up for the power rankings. I'm going to keep trying to push those out on Monday to get them out to you guys early enough to watch. And then, as I said before, the picks, we're going to try to keep getting out sometime on Tuesday, just so you can get bets in before lines get really stale. This has been a crazy Sunday where a lot of numbers have already moved. I had games where the lines already moved a couple of points. You know, I was trying to get Baltimore -1.5. It's already -3.5 now. There were some over-unders where the lines slid down. And we'll save some more of that for the picks video that we're going to get out as soon as I finish placing my bets and doing all of my homework so I can keep getting you guys double-digit unit wins. But as always, if you like what we're doing, let me know in the comments section. Hit me up, and thanks for watching. And one more thing of note, looking at the YouTube studio, whatever they call it, I noticed 95% of the viewers are not subscribed. It doesn't cost anything. Subscribe. Make sure you don't miss any of this good content. Lots of money to be made. Lots of entertaining stuff. Lots of picks. And again, it helps the channel out. So once again, guys, thanks a lot.